Last night I was relaxing and took a little look at the weather and supposed to have a few nice days in a row. I decided, let's head to the hills. So loaded up this morning. We're gonna head out and see what we can find. Maverick, you excited? Daryl, what do you think? So I drove up till we hit pretty good snow, and I think I'm gonna go back a little bit, drop a little bit of elevation so we could pack in and set up camp where we're not camping in the snow. So we're gonna head that direction right now. I dropped down out at the snow line a couple hundred feet in elevation, several hundred feet in elevation. So gonna unload the llamas. Let's go ahead and get them all saddled up and loaded up, and we'll hit the trail here. Oh, well, I got the llama saddled up in record time. Only took maybe half hour or so. I'm gonna grab these guys and we're ready to head out. Well, as I'm heading into camp, got this storm that's still trying to sneak up behind me. I'm only in about a mile and I got about 4 more to go. So we're going to keep making tracks. Hopefully get there and get the tent set up before the storm gets here. You know, like I said in the beginning, we are just right below the snow line, which makes great camping and hunting. And just arrived where we're going to be camping for a couple of days. So tied up the llamas, gonna unload them real quick, and then I'll get camp set up and then head out and see what we can find. There, Archie, you ready to get that pack off of there, are you? There you go, buddy. All right, good boy. How about you, Daryl? So now that they're unloaded, I'll get the stake out lines, get them staked out for the night, and go from there. It's amazing how just in a few minutes how everything can change. Got the llamas tied up, and all of a sudden the wind picked up, and a pretty big storm cloud coming this way. So much for just taking my time. That storm coming, I'm gonna have to hurry up and get the tent set up as quick as I can. Just see how quick we can do this without getting flustered. There, that didn't take very long. It looked like it took about 13-ish minutes to set this tent up to this point. Again, it'd probably take 5 more minutes to get all the stakes and the guy lines put out to really secure it. And you want to do that because of the wind. If the wind got a hold of it, it'd be gone. I'd never get it back. So yeah, stake all the guy lines down, or not. I probably won't put them all out, but I'll put some of them down. So I have the llamas all staked out. They're good for a while. Spent the last 10 minutes getting all my pack gear put in the tent. So in case the storm ends up coming over us, that we're not going to get rained out. It's always nice to see a group like that that made it through the winter. While I'm sitting here, I see a ginormous bear. And I do have a gun. And I do have a bear tag. And it is bear season. But I don't know. It's a little ways away. I don't know. We'll see. Well, I have 2.5 hours to get over to where I saw that giant bear. And I'm a half hour into it. I'm about halfway. So I'm going to keep on plugging along. I can't video while I'm doing this because it's a lot of, I'm off-roading big time. So I dropped a ton of elevation. Now I've got a side hill and then go up a bunch of elevation and see if that puts me across from them. The only problem I have is there's a really big creek right before you get to them. So we'll have to see if we can get across it. So I dropped off the hill there into this dark little draw, got across the first tiny creek. I'm fighting my way through these rose bushes, and I chose to be here. But those things are, it's like I've been fighting a cat and he's winning. It might not look like it, but those rose bushes down there and up here are a little bit challenging. Well, I dropped off, went down some serious elevation, and got down to where he's at. He's in them trees right there. But that's still, it's a little bit farther than I can shoot. And I'm literally on a cliff. I can't get but maybe 20 yards closer. And the other side, I just don't think I can get up that other side with that washout. I mean, if you look at that washout like it is, maybe I could down there. So, don't think it's going to happen. And that was a really big bear, but oh well. That's how it goes. Can't win them all. Sat down here for just a minute and looked over there, and he's right there at that top bush coming out, and he's actually moved quite a ways further away from where I'm at. So totally fine. I'm just out here with the llamas, enjoying myself and just enjoying life. Just out camping, making dinner, making breakfast, sleeping in. So anyhow, you can see him coming out there right on that ridge line, making his way across there. It's pretty cool. But really, there's a raging river between us, a cliff. And that's why he's down here. That's why he gets big. And he's literally still a long, long, long ways away. He started off when I first saw him right down there. And that was a maybe. But that's I just can't catch him before dark. And I just know I can't get across that river safely. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm breathing pretty hard. But I think I'll live. I'm going to leave him alone. I love looking at the remnants of these old cabins and shacks that are out here in the mountains from forever ago. It's a little flat spot tucked in there out of the way. Couldn't imagine what it took to live here. Ain't much left. A few more years, it'll be all gone. Sure be nice to talk to the people that built it. And you can see down here they used a rock, had a few rocks in there for the foundation. It's all gone now. Well, it's getting late. I still got a ways to go to get back to camp. It's kind of cool. Look up and see these guys feeding across the skyline there. What I'm out here for, just to enjoy. Well, the wind's blowing pretty good, and I'm headed back to camp. It's late. I'm tired. I went a long ways today. So I'm going to hop in here, make myself something pretty easy, and call it a day. So you know how I keep talking about this big Agnes tent, and it's got this big vestibule. It's nice, because I'm telling you, the wind's blowing out there. It's dark. It's really cold. Okay, it's not that cold, but anyhow, the wind's blowing. It's nasty. But I got plenty of room in here to sit back, make dinner, and enjoy myself, and get ready for bed. Well, it's morning time. Hear the birds out there chirping. I'm going to get up, get some coffee, and go out and walk around and see what we can see today. Good morning, llamas. Well, the sun's just starting to peek up over the hill. It was a little frosty last night. Ooh. Well, the sun will hit the top of the tent here in a little bit, warm it up. Got a little bit of chores to do around camp. Make some coffee here real quick. So no real big agenda today. Just going to relax, take it easy, walk around the hills here a little bit, see what we can find. Is that good with you, Daryl? Daryl's not going. He's going to stay here, guard camp. Oh, man. Well, I'm going to head out for a walk here in a little bit after I finish drinking my coffee. And I actually have to move the llamas around a little bit, get them on some new feed, and one of them has a stick wound up in his rope, so got to get him taken care of. About a half hour here, we'll hit the trail. It's warming up nice, though. I plan on being gone for an hour or two. You never know what that might turn into, but come back and make some breakfast after that. So I get my boots on here, the pack loaded up, replenish the water supply, some granola bars, go out for a couple hours. I always make sure I take enough in case I end up not coming back for the day. So you never know what might end up happening. Got the llamas all resituated. I always bring camp Crocs. I always bring those along with me because it's so nice when you get back to be able to kick your boots off and just go in and out of the tent. I don't necessarily like to wear any kind of shoes or boots or anything in the tent. Try to keep the floor in there clean. That's not always the case, but I do my best. So I make sure that I put my headlamp back in my pack before I go, because there's really only a couple things I'm really kind of concerned about or afraid of. And number one's the dark. So I always make sure I have a headlamp. Then I have extra batteries, but I take one of the batteries in there and reverse it. That way it's not on all day in my pack. Inevitably, one of the buttons gets pushed and the light's going to be on. So I do that to avoid it. And I've done that for years. It works good. So I always make sure when I leave camp, I have my coat on. And that way I go about 50 to 100 yards and I stop and I take my coat off. So at least I'm consistent, I guess. Hi, Daryl. I'll be back in a little bit. Why the side-eye? There are a bunch of these grouse out here, and they make a hoot sound while they're sitting there. And then every now and then when you're walking through the brush, you don't see them, and they fly up and they scare the crap out of you. It's kind of fun. He's out there strutting his stuff for the young lady sitting under this bush. It's one thing I enjoy about spring. It's coming out here and seeing the animals. You can see off in the distance there another rock foundation from an old homestead that used to be here. Skull from a dead cow elk from a few years back. You can tell it's an elk because of where those ivory teeth would have been. Cool. Well, getting back to camp after a couple hour walkabout, looking around, see what we can find. So it's it's time to make breakfast. Take a little break and get back after it. Now that we're back at camp, I'm going to go ahead and get the kitchen stuff out and yard sale everything out here real quick. So I have both stoves on, and that one's already cooking. Throw in the bread dough, get it to cooking. Oh yeah, perfect. Get this sausage, turn it up a notch. Wow, that smells really good. I will say the Coleman stove, you set the regulator, you don't have to worry about it. It just goes. This one over here, El Cheapo, you just have to keep babying, turn it up. You got a blowtorch, and then in just a few seconds, now you got a big blowtorch. Now you got to turn her back down a little bit. The regulator on it, it's not so good. So without even touching it, now it's about off. Put in some milk. Now just a little bit of flour. Use the old highball method here. About like that. Turn it up a little. Now it's gone back down. This is done. This is perfect. And I think we'll just turn that thing off. Switch it over here to Old Reliable. Had this stove, like I said, for 20 years or longer, and it don't let you down. It just does a great job. So let's figure out something. I thought I was in love with that little stove, but after fighting with that regulator, I don't think I am. I really don't like stuff that isn't functionable. I did buy it on a cheapo sale, hoping it was going to be better than that, but it's that little regulator. I'll try it with different gas and see if that works. Switch from the propane to the other type of gas and see how that goes. It is time to put this all together. It's going to grab that, but that could be hot still. Tell me that does not look excellent. Ooh, she's still really hot. Cannot tell you how good this smells, and also how hot it is. Perfect. And I would really like to thank you guys for carrying all this stuff in here so I could eat like a king while I'm out here camping. So after I come back to camp from being out for a couple hours this morning, made some biscuits and gravy. Looks absolutely fabulous. So I'm going to overeat here real quick and organize everything for later on this evening. Then I'm going to head back out for a couple hours. It's right behind where I have camp is a spring, and I think it's been habited for a while. There's pieces of tin and old cast iron around here and stuff from a long time ago. And anyhow, come down in here, dig my spot out, and get it all set up. And that's how I get my water for the llamas and camp chores. I just happened to know where there's an old pipe stored over here in a tree. Getting close. We'll let that fill up, run out that pipe, and we'll be good to go. Kind of cool piece of pottery from people that were here a long time ago. We have to put this pipe in here to get the water out. If not, you try to scrape it and whatever. It just doesn't work. You end up with a bunch of that black mud, stink mud. So we do this, let it run for a little while, and clear water will be coming through. It's still not drinkable water, even though it's coming out of the ground just right up there. I wouldn't drink it without filtering it. So I'll put a bucket under here for when it starts flowing, we'll catch some water. Well, there she goes, going like a champ. So get us a few buckets of water here and get ready to head out here in a little bit. Okay, Archie, I'll be back in a little bit. You hold down the fort. Maverick, Daryl, you do the same. Be back in a little bit. It's always interesting to me, like you're walking around in the middle of nowhere, and there's just like a random bone laying there. It's like, wonder who's missing that. Well, would you look at that? One of Mother Nature's little Easter eggs. And I mean little. That's cool. I don't find many shedhorns. That one will be really easy to carry. I'm sitting here looking at this shed antler that I found and trying to decide, is that a 3-point? I mean, he's broke off a little bit. I mean, probably from fighting. And it looks like his eye guard. Looks like his eye guard's wore down quite a bit too. See that? Probably just a fighting machine with that type of headgear. Breaking off the point and everything. As I'm headed back towards camp, I have a handful of these water crossings to go through. Springtime period, which is good. It's nice to see there's plenty of water because it will dry out and it will be extremely hot here in a couple more months. So I came back to camp a little bit early, decided not to stay out till way after dark so I can go ahead and make a nice dinner and sit back and listen to my Audible for a little bit. Got a new book. I finished up the Jim Bridger book and starting another book. So I'm going to make dinner, kick back, relax, take care of the llamas, and call it a day. Well, I'm going to start the evening off with a little refreshment before I get this whole dinner cooking thing on the road. Perfect. What do you think, Archie? Well, what do you say, fellas? We give this stove, this little inexpensive stove, one more chance, and this time we're going to use this different kind of gas, this isobutane. We'll give it a try, see if it performs better. So now that I have the Yukon Golds diced up and put in the pan with the onion, I'm going to go ahead and get the pork chop seasoned up with the old Louisiana fish fry. And I think it's time to turn the stove on and get things to cooking here. Okay. Everybody calm down. We got it. So I use this Louisiana fish fry. This one here, particular one, is a, what is it? Chicken fried steak. Well, anyhow, it's going to go good with this right here. So it's starting to look amazing. It's looking pretty good. Sitting here, waiting for dinner to be done. Well, that turned out just about perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and eat it real quick and losing light. So I want to get camp all cleaned up before it gets dark out and get ready for bed. Even got this little guy sitting right behind camp here. Bet you he's glad it's springtime. Well, I made short work of dinner, but I do have a leftover pork chop, so that's what's going to be on the menu for tomorrow morning for breakfast. As for now, I'm going to run around camp here, get everything kind of cleaned up, put away, and kind of get ready for bed. But I'm going to sit here and enjoy the view and listen to my book for a while as soon as I get my camp chores done. Well, I think I got camp organized close enough. Everything kind of tucked up underneath the vestibule here, other than the chair and table, which I'll do here in a minute. Got the bread for tomorrow morning. I'll sit here all day in the sun, and boy howdy, wow, did it rise good. That'll be perfect for in the morning, if that's what we're gonna have. We still got to deal with the pork chop. So I'm gonna grab the Audible book and sit out here for an hour or so and listen to it. Well, I've had about enough fun for one day, so I'm going to hit the sack. Me and the old Big Agnes sleeping bag, we're going to fight it out another night. See you tomorrow. Well, good morning. So pretty good last night. You can hear the birds chirping all around the tent. And I tell you what's nice is with the llamas, you don't even know they're out there. I used to pack with horses, and they would stomp and paw at the ground and make noise all night and keep me up most of the night. But you don't even know those guys are out there. So it's kind of nice. So this morning I got to get up here in a little bit, make some coffee, get camp picked up, and head out. Another beautiful morning out here. A little bit frosty still. Just starting to come off the tent, so as soon as the frost is off, it'll be time to roll up camp, head out. Everything's still going to be a little damp, so I'm going to take and have to unroll it all when I get home. You always want to do that to make sure stuff doesn't mold. So it's time to get the coffee going. Well, have you been following along? For breakfast this morning, it's going to be pretty easy. We're going to have this leftover pork chop that's just kind of hanging out here on this rock and some fry bread. I cook here for just a minute. There we go. Flip it over. And today we got with us some huckleberry syrup somebody gave me. And when you do that, you got to have peanut butter with it as well. What do you think? A couple more flips and it'll be good. Things just kind of growing in that pan, isn't it? I think we're good right there. I do have that pork chop over there. Quite honest, I doubt I will be able to eat all of it. So I'm going to leave it alone for now. Now for the huckleberry syrup. This stuff is absolutely amazing. Tell me that's not going to be good. Oh, buddy. Wow, that is unreal. Got to be honest with you. I really don't know how it gets any better than this. And again, you can't eat like this every day. At least I can't, because I'll gain 5 pounds just eating this right here. But I have a very long walk ahead of me today, so that'll give me some energy to get that whole thing done, I guess. Have you ever ate so much peanut butter at one time that you think you're having a heart attack? It's not happening to me right now, but as a kid, it happened to me a couple times. Well, I want to do it, but I can't do it. I can't get this done. I'm not going to throw it away quite yet. This will be the last thing I put away before I hit the trail, but I'm not sure I can do it. I know I can't do it right now. Well, I'm going to hang out here after eating breakfast and feeling the warm sunshine on me. I'm going to just sit here and watch Archie eat for a little while. Then I'm going to get after it. Archie, what do you think? Yep. Might be back later. Might never be back. Who knows? Well, we made it back to the pickup. It's pretty uneventful, other than the fact Maverick, he had to trade places from being in the back where he likes to be to being in the front, because he thought it was a good idea to rub up on all the brush and stuff that we come across. So it was getting a little annoying. So he took the first place position, and he actually done a really good job. I thought he was going to throw a fit, and that really wasn't the case. We're going to go ahead and get unloaded, unload them, put everything in the truck, load them up, and head towards home. Jump into Daryl, give you first shot at it. Hopefully that's low enough. They're gonna let me know. Jump. See how he does. Seems like sometimes one of them just doesn't want to go. We're going to find out right about now. There you go. Like that. Got one left. See if old Archie's gonna just hop up in here. I was the one having a hard time hopping up in there. Well, that's that. I can't tell you what a great time it was. Working with the animals, camping out for a couple of nights. Doesn't get any better than that. I don't think for a second I forgot about the pork chop.